Welcome back to Snetterton. This track is one of the farthest that the BTCC visits, and it's played host to some memorable races over the years, featuring some familiar faces battling it out for victory.
He's off this time! Jason Plato across the grass. Matt Neal's facing the wrong way. Can he get it started? Jason Plato's going to win the race. Matt Neal went for it, but he's lost his chance of getting points. And Jason Plato takes the win. But there are going to be some huge discussions after that one.
I don't know about controversial, you know, Robin's great racing.
I think the footage speaks for itself. You know, I'm not going to get involved in slagging matches for Jason.
I'm not just going to gift him the win, am I?
Some things don't change. Matt Neal and Jason Plato battling it out for victory there. And also in that footage we saw this man, Rob Huff, take a victory. Did that bring back happy memories for you?
Yeah, I was just getting a little bit emotional there. It was my first home win effectively here at Snetterton back in 2004. We got my first win the weekend before that at Brands Hatch. And then we came here, we qualified I think 4th or 5th, had a disastrous first race. Started race 2, I think 17th, and then the third race in 7th or 8th, and straight into the lead. It was a bit of a cracking start, I must admit.
You're obviously racing in the World Touring Car Championship at the moment, and things are going pretty well there too, aren't they? Particularly at the last round in Brno.
Yeah, that's right. Last round in Brno, we got the first win of the season for myself, and yeah, currently 4th place in the championship, 30 points away from the lead. So yeah, we've still got another 4 rounds to go, another 200 points available. But as always, I never give up, keep fighting, and hopefully we'll get a couple of more wins before the season's out.
What's the competition like in that series? How does it compare to British touring cars?
It's very tough, you know. I don't think it matters what championship you're in. You can be in Formula Renault, Renault Clios, just about anything. The fight for the championship is always tough. I think in the World Championship maybe we've got a few more people who can fight for the victories and fight for the championship. There's effectively 9 works drivers out there, and probably any one of the top 15 can win a race. But there's a very close battle, but certainly between 4 of us for the championship. I'm 4th in the bunch, and the 3 above me are all world champions. So I'm just happy to be in that sort of company at the moment.
Well, one man who's now joining that battle is Colin Turkington, the 2009 British touring car champion. How's he getting on?
He's doing well. You know, he's fitted straight into the family, shall we say. Obviously, he's in a car that's slightly older than what the rest of us have got effectively, but that does mean that he can run sort of 70 kilos lighter, so a way that our championship sort of equalises things. And yeah, he's had 4 podiums out of 4 visits so far. So I was lucky enough just to stop him at Brands Hatch from getting the win, and myself and my teammate Ivan obviously got the win there. But yeah, he's very quick lad, obviously a champion just about anywhere in the world. He's very quick and very clever, and Colin is certainly right at the top of that bill.
We'll give him our best, won't you? We're going to catch up with some Formula Renault action next from earlier in the day. We joined the race at lap 14.
Yellowly after his first podium in 8th, then David McDonald, and in 10th position, Robert Foster-Jones.
So Ollie Milroy takes his first victory of the season in Formula Renault, but who is going to be taking victory in race 2 in the BTCC? The cars are out on the grid and Simon's down there with him.
Yeah, with Stephen Kane on the grid. Stephen, a good performance in race 1. What do you expect for this one?
Hopefully, you know, starting from 7th, there's a real chance of getting up onto the podium. You know, we've changed the car quite a bit because we struggled in qualifying a little bit, and we went back to that. Oh, the boys are talking to me.
Now, obviously, Matt had a good run as well, looking really strong. How similar are your setups for this afternoon? You gone a similar way, or have you tried something a bit radical?
We were quite a bit different. His seemed to work in the wet more than the dry. We were quite close in the dry, but still not happy with the car. Now we've went closer in the same direction. We're a little bit different, but we're not exactly the same. But it's sort of making the best out of both setups. He seems to be driving really well. The car seems to be working really well for him. So if I can take a little bit of that and try and get a little bit more rear grip, it might help me.
Obviously, a lot warmer now than it was earlier on. So could that be a factor? Could that work for you or against you, think?
Traditionally, you know, for BMWs, it's always better because the hotter it is, the worse the front wheel drives will go off with the front tyres. So, you know, if we can make our tyres last, and if I can get a bit more rear grip, hopefully we'll come into our own in the last sort of 4 or 5 laps.
We'll be watching with interest. Have a good race, Steve.
Thank you.
So, Stephen Kane looking very confident, or feeling very confident by the sounds of things, and somebody who had an absolutely awesome performance in race 1 was this man, Tom Onslow-Cole, from the back of the grid. A fantastic performance, Tom. Can you, if you make even half as many places up, you're on for a win?
Yeah, it obviously gets a lot tougher up this end. We had a fantastic first lap of race 1, and that really made the race. I think we were up to P12 from 21st after lap 1, and then obviously having 17 laps just to pick a few off was good. It was a great result, but we'll see what we can do now.
Now, I've just been speaking to Stephen Kane, and he said that because it's a lot warmer, it might not work so well for you guys with front-wheel drive. It might work for them. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's probably right. It has got a little bit warmer now. The BMW will come into its own. We've made a few adjustments to the car to try and adjust it to the temperature, but they'll probably be strong towards the end of the race. Hopefully, if I can try and keep him behind, obviously they're quick off the line. We need to keep him behind and start pushing forward for that podium.
Good stuff. Have a good one, Tom. Thanks. And we're going to go up to hear from Ben and Tim in the commentary box.
Thank you very much, Simon. So we're getting all set for this second race of the day here in absolutely perfect conditions, as you can see, and Jason Plato will be hoping to make it 2 out of 2. I have to say, if you look back over the history of Snetterton, it's quite often that the same driver goes on to win 2 races to start the day. A couple of years ago it didn't happen, but in recent years, Vauxhall did it in 2009, Jason did it with Seat in 2008 and in 2006, in fact, and Tom Chilton himself did it in a Honda in 2005. So if you look at the history books, Jason Plato's on for another victory here, Tim, but as we've heard, with Matt Jackson in the BMW on the outside of the front row, might not be the case.
Yeah, it depends really what happens on the start, doesn't it? I think if Matt gets in front, you know, Jason's got to be a little mindful of how brave he's going to be in terms of overtaking, because he wants to finish. But if Jason gets in front, the pit lane betting is that he'll win the race, because he won the first one with 36 kilos, setting fastest lap on lap 14. So you'd have to say that he could probably do it again, but it is hotter. So I think those two factors are going to determine the race, whether Matt Jackson gets in front and whether the heat will affect the front-wheel drive cars more in this race.
Well, we shall wait and see with great eagerness. The cars are away on their formation lap. Let's take a look at how they line up then. It is Plato, winner earlier on today, looking for 2 out of 2, with Matt Jackson alongside in the Airwaves car. Tom Chilton, third on the grid for Team Aon. Shedden fourth for Honda Racing. James Nash next up with Tom Onslow Cole, as we heard, had a great first race and is leader of the independent points. Stephen Kane is next up in his BMW, then Tom Boardman in the Seat. Andrew Jordan and Rob Collard are together on row 5. Paul O'Neill and John George, the sunshine.co.uk teammates, are on row number 6. Row 7, Andy Neat and Lee Wood. Then Martin Depper and Sean Hollenby. Row 9, we've got Arthur Forster and Matt Neal, who had that puncture in race 1. And right at the back, Alex McDowell there with Martin Johnson and David Pinkney. But Alex, broken gear lever, off pole position in race 1. So we'll also be keeping an eye on his progress. Now, let's see if we can get a word with Jason Plato, starting from pole. Jason, this is Ben in the commentary box. You've got a clear road ahead of you. Can you take another easy win here?
An easy win, behave yourself. You know, we're in a great position, obviously. Actually, just bear with me 2 minutes, Ben. We've got new technology in the car, and I'm getting a phone call from James, our sponsor at Silverline. Hi, James. It's very kind of you to double our sponsorship for next year. Thank you. Back with you, Ben.
Very good, Jason. Thank you very much for that one. We are, of course, looking forward to him coming around to see what he can do. Just quick news for everybody, by the way, Tim, that I heard just as we came over, is that the Fords have been given us a smaller restrictor for this race. So between races, there is going to be less power available to those Ford Focuses.
Yeah, TOCA produced several different sizes of restrictors so that they could balance the power at any point. But to introduce it between races is fairly unprecedented. But clearly the evidence from that first race was that those Fords needed to be pegged back a little bit for straight line speed. I'm sure they won't be happy, but they clearly had a huge advantage there. We'll see what the difference is now.
Well, we shall see what happens, won't we? They've still got plenty of torque coming off the corners, so that's still going to help them. The other cars all moving into position now as we get ready for the start of this second race of the day. Jason Plato and Matt Jackson up at the front, but a few cars to look for towards the back. You see how slowly they're coming round Russell, but in particular, Jason Plato's teammate, who starts almost at the back, Alex McDowell, the 19-year-old who stunned everybody with his brilliant pole position in the damp yesterday, but he's got an awful lot to do from the back. There he is. We'll see what he can do. Maybe he's been down the gym a bit too much, because to break that gear lever, I mean, that takes some doing.
Well, these youngsters are strong, aren't they? But sometimes you snatch it a bit too hard in haste. But his progress and Matt Neal's progress from the back. Matt Neal, of course, without any weight in the car now. He had 45 kilos in to start with. Should be meteoric and certainly worth watching.
So here we are, the last few cars moving into position. Once they have, we'll be getting ready to go. David Pinkney, the last car on the grid for this second race of the day. And we are getting all set now then for round 17 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship here at Snetterton. Wait to see who gets off the line. Will it be the BMW on the right or the Chevrolet from pole? Away we go, and a good start from both front row men. Plato will try and defend from that BMW, but will Matt Jackson be able to challenge into Rich's? Good start from Matt Jackson, but Plato, I think, has control as they turn into the first corner. Jackson's running all the way around the outside. That's brave, can't do it, has to slot into second, and in fact now he's got to protect second from Chilton in third. Then it's Gordon Shedden, then Onslow Cole, and then everybody pouring through Sear corner.
Well, a very good start by Jason Plato to match the start made by Jackson. Really was fantastic.
Yeah, very good stuff. Now watching Plato trying to ease away already. Matt Jackson under pressure from Tom Chilton, and Tom Onslow Cole has come up into fourth place. The two Fords, look at that, they're in third and fourth already, despite the restrictor being reduced and bouncing across. That was Stephen Kane, but I think he held it on, and there's a good little bunch all gathering together behind them, all fighting for fifth place. Off Tom Boardman's off. Oh, he's been collected by Paul O'Neill. Oh, what a shame.
Oh, that was almost a repeat of the accident that Rob Collard had last year. Fortunately, nothing like as violent as that accident, but still a disaster for both Tom Boardman and of course, Paul O'Neill, who would have been hoping for great things. And his teammate John George is off as well.
Oh, what a miserable time for the Sunshine cars. What a pity. The safety car is out on circuit. There it is. It's collected the race leader, Jason Plato, followed by Matt Jackson, Tom Chilton, Tom Onslow Cole, then Stephen Kane. Gordon Shedden is sixth, but the wheel off the Boardman car, I think it was, and really unfortunate. Those two had a great dice in the first race, but it all went wrong on this first lap.
Yeah, one of those uprights is several £1,000s, but it's going to be tough for the boys there from Mardi Gras to fix that, Tech Speed to fix that car for the next race.
Paul O'Neill's out of his car, Tom's out of his car, but that is a very, very painful in terms of loss of points, in terms of the cost of the damage as well. Both are teams that really can't afford to have a lot of damage, and that's a great pity. Let's take a look at it, Tim, try and work out.
Well, we're seeing the end of it here. I mean, it was actually Paul O'Neill and John George that collected each other as John George was trying to go around the outside. I mean, they had nowhere to go. Look, Boardman gets a tank slapper on after a bit of contact and comes back into the path of Paul O'Neill, and then the back of Boardman's car also collects John George's. Here we go on board with Matt Neal just behind, and you can see they're both braking, going, oh, Matt Neal got a very lucky run through the middle, and well, he passed three cars there.
I think that was Andy Neate spinning in front of him as well on the exit of the bomb hole. So that was all pretty unfortunate. Very difficult to see how Boardman started to go in the first place. He was sort of battling with James Nash and with, I think it was Collard. Strangely enough, it was Nash and Collard that came together there last year, wasn't it, of course? So certainly memories of 12 months ago. Let's take a view of Tom Onslow Cole's start. Now, he started in 6th place, and he's had a great first lap. Let's see how he did it, Tim.
Yeah, really good start. You can hear no res. Nash, you saw wheel spinning there, saw smoke coming from. So he's got the run on him initially, and in fact he's catching up with Shedden and his teammate Chilton. Oh, I thought he was going to dive down the inside. He just braked in time. But let's see here as he's lining up the inside. Shedden goes defensive. There's a bit of a tap there. Does he push Shedden wide? Another bit of a tap. They both come out onto the back straight, well, very equally. So now is a good opportunity to see if that restrictor's holding back the Ford. Well, it doesn't seem to be holding it back very much, does it at all? Because he's still able to breeze past Shedden.
Well, they've still got great torque from these engines, and that's what the guys were saying. Off the corners, the engine is very strong with that turbocharged power with the gas engine, and there's both Tom Boardman and Paul O'Neill just heading towards the ambulance. They will need to be checked over. It's all part of standard procedure, but they both look well, which is good news. But yes, as you say, it was still looking pretty rapid in a straight line, that Focus, and the two Fords are running 3rd and 4th in this race behind safety car.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously Gordon Shedden has got 18 kilos of weight on, but really that is nothing that should affect the performance that drastically. And they came out onto the back straight very equally.
Yep.
And yet Tom Onslow Cole was able to drive past, no, not alongside, but actually past him and pull back in. Here's on board with Matt Neal, who obviously was starting further back. He gets a nice opening up the inside of Sean Holmby there. Track opens up nicely for him. He's got Lee Wood in front as well. Lee looks like he's going for the inside. Will Matt be brave enough to go around all the way around the outside? Not quick, but he's now going around the outside. We're hoping he doesn't get pushed out wide, but he doesn't. In front also, there's cars defending all the way down the inside, so Matt has no option but to run it round the outsides. Martin Depper just in front, but Matt gets a good exit there, and Martin sensibly doesn't move over on him, and Matt is using that momentum off the corner to drag past him.
Yeah, good clean racing. Nice to see he didn't suddenly give him a chop when he saw him coming through. Matt Neal had the speed out of the corner. How did he do down into the S's?
Well, I think we may see the accident in front with Tom Boorman, don't forget, spreading the field apart. I think there's just some side-by-side touching there, and of course Matt dives up the inside here.
That was a good decision.
And Andy yeah, it was a perfect decision. I mean, you're always told as a racing driver to aim for where the car is rather than where it's going, because if you aim for where it's going, you'll follow it to the same point of impact. But and Matt did exactly the right thing there.
Great instinct, wasn't it? That was you know, a guy who's been racing for a good many years. Good instinct, and it turned out to be the right instinct.
Yeah, and he has ended up 10th across the stripe at the end of that lap.
And he needs it, because Plato leads this race, and he's already lost the championship lead to Jason Plato today, remember, as a result of the first race. So Matt Neal is desperate to try and pick up some points. Let's go down to the pits and get some reaction. John George is talking to Simon.
John, obviously very frustrating. Of all the cars, it ends up being your teammate. What did you see of it?
Well, I think Tom Boorman span backwards in front of Paul. I think I actually hit Tom, not Paul, I'm hoping. But I wasn't sure, obviously I could really tell. I was going for the grass and something hit the rear, near side, my side of the rear. So all I know is two big bangs and away it went.
Now, are you confident the boys can get it done for the next race?
I'm not too sure. It's taken everything clean back to the wishbones. The wishbones are gone and there's just the trailing arm there, so I'm hopeful. So.
Thanks very much, John. I hope it gets all fixed up for you for later.
Thanks very much.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. And John actually had a good result in that first race. He was 12th in the first race, and really he's been looking for sort of 3 solid finishes. And poor John, it just doesn't seem to be happening for him this year, except for the first event of the season. There's always been some sort of problem throughout the weekend.
Yeah, and he was desperately hoping it wasn't his teammate that he hit. And in fact, as we saw on the replay, it wasn't. It was just the rear three-quarter of Tom Boorman's car that he clipped. But that team with a lot of work to do before the third race. And I'm sure Marv Humphries and the boys will do their best, but it's very difficult to fix those cars quickly and get the geometry right.
So safety car still leads them around. Jason obviously just following the pace of that car, and then Matt Jackson behind him, Tom Chilton, Tom Onslow-Cole, Stephen Kane, and then Gordon Shedden and Rob Collard, Andrew Jordan, then and the others. So let's just see if we can get a quick word with Jason, leading this race around. Jason, this is Ben in the com box, so obviously still behind safety car, lights still on, so a little way to go yet before you're racing again.
Yeah, I think so, Ben. I mean, it looked like it's got a big accident, so the safety guys have got to make sure all the drivers are okay, which I hope they are, and obviously clean the track up. But I can just see now the cars are being pulled away, so maybe one more lap and we'll be off.
Okay, both drivers are okay. We've seen them heading off towards the medical centre, but they're okay. How's the car feeling? Is it feeling as strong as it did earlier? You're carrying a little bit more weight this time?
Yeah, I think I've actually got a slightly better balance than I did earlier in the opening laps, which we have obviously made some changes to try and achieve that. I mean, it's a shame we had a safety car because I had a great first lap and managed to get a gap straight away, and that would have been probably at least a slipstream broken, and I might have been able to have an easier race. But got to really concentrate now and get a good restart.
Okay, Jason, thanks for that. So he's working on getting a good restart. Lights are still on the safety car, but they might go out on this next lap if we're lucky and go back to racing. Of course, each of these laps does count towards the race result, so we'll have to see. The track temperature up to 36 degrees, so it's climbed a little bit from where it was earlier on. Let's see if we can get a quick word with Matt Neal, who managed to avoid that incident. Matt, this is Ben in the commentary box. You did a fantastic job, instinctive reaction to go in the right direction to miss that shunt down at the bomb hole, didn't you?
Ben, there's a little bit of luck involved as well as that, so yeah, something went our way today, so the car feels good. I'm looking forward to a strong race.
Yeah, you're up to 10th, you're in the points now, so it's just a question of how many you can pick off, I guess, on the restart.
Yeah, Dan, I copy that, over, no sweat.
Yeah. So he's actually on the radio to his team as well at the moment, so that we'll let them get on with that. And Matt Neal in 10th place. He's behind James Nash. He's got Andrew Jordan ahead of him. What are his prospects here, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, lights are out, so they're going to be restarting from this lap. But certainly he'll be pleased with that first lap and with the safety car to close the field up again to give him another opportunity. But Dunlop has told us track temperature gone up another 6 degrees, so it's getting hotter all the time.
Here we go then, the race is getting restarted after a period behind the safety car. Jason Plato will lead them across the line, and we're racing once again at Snetterton. Matt Jackson not making quite such a quick restart. He's going to be coming under pressure from Tom Chilton in the Ford Focus. Then the other Ford of Tom Onslow Cole. Stephen Kane in the Airways BMW is chased by Gordon Shedden and by Rob Collard. Then it's Andrew Jordan, James Nash and Matt Neal, remember, in 10th place, desperate to try and move up the order a little bit. Jordan was going quite defensive there on the run towards Sear Corner, so maybe he had a bit of a poor restart, but he's still got Collard and Nash behind him.
Yeah, it was Collard had run wide, and it was actually Andrew Jordan overtaking Collard, so good move there. But I spoke to Andy after the first race to ask him why he'd gone backwards, and he just said tyre deterioration. He was working the tyres too hard as Jackson under serious pressure from Chilton, but clearly they're struggling with in these hot temperatures with Andrew Jordan's car to get the tyre life to work.
Yeah, well, he's gained 1 place, as you say. He's got past Collard. It's put him into 7th place. Look at this battle for second, allowing Jason Plato to get away. Now, this is what Matt Jackson avoided in the first race, because he sort of stuck on the rear bumper of Jason's car, and the two of them pulled away, and he's made a mistake, and Tom Chilton's down the inside into Russell, but Jackson fends him off. Oh, that was clever driving from both. It's so narrow through there.
Well, that was good, because it shows you can get two cars alongside each other through there, and both of them gave each other room. But here we go, up on the outside Chilton, on the inside Onslow Cole.
The Fords are going through it. They're mugging the BMW of Matt Jackson. He has been well and truly mugged, and the two Ford Focuses are up in a 2nd and 3rd.
Well, just poor bloke's been passed on one side and the other, and here comes his teammate.
Almost. Stephen Kane trying to come through, and meanwhile there's Gordon Shedden. Keep an eye on him in the Honda. Those two going side by side. New race distance of 21 laps because of the safety car being out. Lights flashing on Andrew Jordan's car. Oh, this is just great for Jason Plato. He's disappearing into the distance. But here's the battling going on. Stephen Kane and Gordon Shedden, and Shedden's got past Kane, who's now under pressure from Jordan.
Yeah, it's all typical touring car racing, and we love it. But yeah, as you say, it's great for Jason Plato at the front. But we'll have to see what pace Chilton and Onslow Cole have got now in 2nd and 3rd. But it looks like Matt Jackson's really struggling with that extra weight in the car. He's gone into this race with 36 extra kilos, and really he's struggling on the first few laps.
Yeah, it has been hard work for him, and he's dropped several places as a result of that. Just about managed to get his momentum back. Meanwhile, Matt Neal is under pressure from Rob Collard, and this was McDowell having a bit of an incident on that restart. Ooh, one way, then the other, and he finally got it together.
Well, he took a few goes at it, but he got there in the end, so it's always difficult on a front-wheel drive car when it starts to tan-snapper like that. But here we go, Onslow Cole up behind Chilton, and don't forget Onslow Cole's a little bit lighter, so maybe his teammates should let him through for the moment.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. I wonder if that will happen. Plato, though, certainly easing away up front. His lead 3.5 seconds virtually as they came across the line last time. Matt Jackson back in 4th place in the BMW, but it's behind him that really all the fun and games are going on. You've got the black Vauxhall coming under some pressure there. Matt Neal trying to go on the outside of James Nash in that Vauxhall, but can he do it? Nash just squeezes Nash. Can't squeeze quite tight enough. He gets pushed out, but Collard takes them both. Rob Collard goes through on the inside.
Yeah, that was a repeat of exactly what we saw in race 1, but where in your desperation to stake up the inside, you actually end up losing a place as well.
Well, that's the way it goes. James Nash losing a couple of places, almost dropping into the clutches of David Pinkley, who's running in 11th place. Martin Depper's in 12th, and then Martin Johnson is in 13th. But Matt Neal has sort of survived that. He gained one and lost one, so all stays even as Plato crosses the line. 9 laps completed, on to lap 21. The two Fords still chasing, and this is that incident once again. And Matt Neal just nosed up the inside, gave him a little bit of a helping hand, and out went Nash.
Yeah, this is into the braking area, and it's very hard to brake round the outside here, but Matt knows exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to position his car so that Nash can't turn in, but in doing so, he loses all his exit speed.
Yeah, and Collard, there he is, just saw a flash of that. Collard got both of them, so Collard's now up into 8th place. You know, in that first race, we wondered what was wrong with Collard. He was holding on to his door. The door was not attached. It was the door handle had broken, and he was actually holding the door for the entire race distance.
Yeah, he said that Tom Cole had come past him and taken the door handle off, but the door was flapping, so he had to hold it closed with his other hand to stop being black and orange flagged by the marshals. But he said he was driving with the door shut, he had holding the door in one hand, he had his knees holding the steering wheel, changing gear with the other one. He said all he needed was a sandwich box to complete the whole outfit.
Fantastic, amazing that he managed to finish. But he's running in 8th place at the moment, is Rob Collard. There, just coming through in the BMW with the blue flashes. Behind him is Matt Neal, former championship leader, coming into this event, but it's Jason Plato that is having an absolutely superb run of it here at Snetterton this weekend. His gap up to 3.6 seconds over Tom Chilton, Tom Cole, Matt Jackson and the rest. And Matt Neal is really the one here who's got to get on with it. He cannot afford to sit back here and let Jason Plato score all these points.
No, and Matt Neal, I mean, he's closing on Collard, but up the front, Plato looks to have it under control. Oh, Alex McDowell in the pits.
Well, I wonder if that's because of that little off he had. We saw him busy correcting it or something else.
They're looking under the front again, and I mean, you know, anything that could have caused that tank slab we think probably would have started at the back, but no, they're saying park it, so that's not going anywhere. But no, Plato is 0.2 of a second quicker than Chilton and Onzo Cole, who were setting identical lap times. But we'll see how far Matt Neal can get. But Rob Collard is not the easiest man to pass, as we all know.
No, that's right, and he is fired up to try and move up the order. Now he's got both hands on the wheel, and he's not keeping the door shut. He should be able to go a little quicker than he did in the first race. Down into Russell they come, just trying to avoid that new curve on the right. And Matt Neal needs to avoid that bail on the left, which he clipped earlier on, remember. Jason Plato has already crossed the line, and his lead is still around the 3.5-second mark. It's just holding fairly steady there. Matt Neal crosses the line. He's still, well, he's in 9th place. Nash is in 10th behind him, then Pinckney. But again, Matt Neal really needs to move up the order. Remember, you can get as many as 10 cars reversed on the grid for race 3, but it's a bit of a gamble to expect that many to be the other way around.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to stake your life on it, that's for sure. Matt needs the points as well, so he'll be just trying to get every position he can. There's certainly no question of hanging back.
Now, the two Fords are very close. Tom Chilton, Tom Onslow Cole, virtually nothing between them at the moment, but Chilton is still in second. You get the feeling that Onslow Cole, with a little less weight on board, perhaps could go a bit faster at this stage.
Yeah, difficult to say because that gap has fluctuated. You'll see at certain places it looks like Tom is a little bit quicker. We've always known how brave he is. I mean, around these fast corners, I remember him back in that Honda Civic. Wow, he had the car really nailed. Yeah. So very brave round the fast sections is Tom.
Yeah, definitely. That's Tom Chilton, but Onslow Cole, a winner, his first ever win here actually. Was his first win in a BMW a few years ago, so he likes the Snetterton circuit as they head up towards Rich's corner, across the line. Lap 13 we're on to. As the battle for last place, and again it's a great little tussle going on. Lee Wood, Sean Hollenby, chased by Andy Neat, and then behind Andy it's Arthur Forster. So you've got 4 cars all battling for last place, but privateer efforts and drivers of varying experience in there. And Lee Wood, he's been impressive this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think they do a really good job, that team. You know, they present a good car, they quietly get on with the job, they're serious racers, working off an extremely tight budget, and I think they do a really good job. And Lee, I think, drives very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely right. Look at the two Airwaves cars, nothing to choose between Matt Jackson and Stephen Kane here, and he's got ahead of Shetton, so what has happened to Gordon Shetton? He's actually dropped, just to Stephen Kane. Jackson was ahead of him, so that's a gain for the second of those two Airwaves cars. And Stephen Kane still on to try and keep that record up of his, of a podium finish at every meeting we've been at this year. Well, if he's going to do it in this one, he better get on with it, and it will be pretty hard because he'd have to get past his teammate, and he'd also have to get on terms with at least one of the Fords.
Yeah, he's got some way to go, hasn't he? And I think he'll be relying very much on the reverse grid for it.
Yes, he's a good place for that. He's in 6th at the moment, so a good chance of starting up front for race 3. Behind him still Gordon Shedden, double race winner from Croft before the long summer break. But it's not going quite so well here. Oh, and having to go defensive, Jackson on his own teammate. Stephen Kane comes back to the outside. Watch out for Shedden behind, because he might take advantage. Jackson ever so wide. Jackson going way, way off the track, and that allows Stephen Kane a real chance to get through now, and Gordon Shedden is the next one, and so Matt Jackson's really now got to think about protecting from Shedden.
Yeah, and Dave Bartram would be having kittens in the Motorbase pit, but in a way that made it easy for Stephen Kane. But side by side, Jackson, just holding on to that place and keeping Shedden at bay.
Carrying the extra weight, Matt Jackson, remember, and you can see it really hurting him compared to his teammate there. So Stephen Kane, with a lighter car, has been able to take advantage. It's brought Kane up into 4th place. Matt Jackson is in 5th, Gordon Shedden in 6th, then Andrew Jordan in the multicoloured car. He's next up in 7th. Rob Collard is behind him in 8th, and it's still Matt Neal behind them all. Oh, contact between Shedden and Jackson. Jackson carried that well, managed to correct.
A great car control, Matt Jackson, because he wouldn't have known that or seen it coming, but Gordon just braked a fraction too late, clipped the back of the car, sent it the wrong way, could have flicked it almost rally style the wrong way, but he held it very, very well. And Onslow Cole again very close to Chilton.
It is interesting, this one, because Onslow Cole's got more points in the championship than Tom Chilton, and if they're going to put sort of their efforts into a championship contender, you might say it would be Onslow Cole, and yet Tom Chilton is such a loyal member of this team and has had race victories in the past when they were running Hondas. Now it's the Fords. He's had a race win as well this year. It's just the way it's gone this season is that Onslow Cole of the pair has scored the more points.
Yeah, it's just the way it's gone with finishes. Obviously they've had quite a few issues and problems during the year. They've always been quick, but haven't always had the reliability, and that's really what's put Onslow Cole in front points-wise.
Yeah, but I wonder whether that means they will be thinking about this or not. It's still going to be an excellent result for them, despite the fact that Jason Plato is still nearly 4 seconds up the road ahead of them. They're running with the restrictor, but they're still going pretty well. Meanwhile, in the pit lane, Alex is talking to Simon.
Yeah, Alex, obviously a very frustrating day. Tell us what's happened.
Basically, when you're that far back on the grid and you've got such a strong car, you know, the back markers, the cars aren't that up to speed as much as we are, and coming onto the pit straight, I got a good run on Lee Wood. And then I dummied him to the outside, moved to the inside, and got cleanly alongside him. And then he started to keep moving over, and when we touched, it unsettled the car a bit. I lost my braking, went flying into the corner, I had to take to the grass, and then obviously you've got no grip. We made contact midway through the corner, and from then on I was fishtailing all the way through the corner, and I lost control and hit one of the curbs that is quite high, and I think it's punctured the sump. So I've been going around while there were no warning lights coming up. I think that's the engine gone, so we'll be fitting a new one.
Let's hope you get out for the next one. Thanks, Alex. Back to Ben and Tim.
Thank you, Simon. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Meanwhile, Matt Neal having a little look at getting down. Oh, sorry, Shedden is, yes, trying to get down the inside of Jackson. Didn't quite happen. Matt Neal's still at the back of this group. But Gordon Shedden trying to take 5th place there as teammate Stephen Kane is holding on and getting a bit of a gap now in 4th. But Shedden looking one way, then the other. Not much to choose between the BMW and the Honda at this point.
No, and Andrew Jordan having a much more competitive run in this race, because late in the race he's still hanging on to these guys and has good pace. So hopefully they found a setup or a problem in the car that's meaning he can show his real speed.
Yeah, that's right, and still got a few laps to go here. We're on lap 17 out of 21. Shedden again getting a good exit, but Jackson holding the middle ground, allowing him space on the outside just about as the two Ford Focuses turn into the S's. Let's concentrate on this battle between the Airwaves BMW of Jackson on the right of shot, the Honda on the left as we look at it of Gordon Shedden, and the Jackson BMW still carrying ballast, but he's able to brake late into the left-hander there at the S's, and there's no change.
No, and this is really, you know, the sort of touring car racing that we want to see. They've got a front-wheel drive car, you've got a rear-wheel drive car, you've got slight differences in the way they use their tyres during the race, but very, very evenly matched on the straights. And is Shedden having another go now? He's been looking so many times for that move, but it makes for great racing.
It does, and you only need the slightest slip-up from one of these guys, and you could really get a change around in finishing positions. Andrew Jordan it is now putting a move on Gordon Shedden, because Shedden maybe just lost a bit of ground and he's lost the place before they get to riches. So Andrew Jordan has moved up one. He's into 6th position, getting past Gordon Shedden, who's now under pressure from both Rob Collard and Matt Neal.
Yeah, good move. As you say, Shedden just lost momentum with that feint on the back of Jackson's car, and it allowed Jordan to get a good exit and run past him.
Just shows you how tight it is. You only need to make the tiniest little error or lose a fraction of momentum. Now Collard is going to try and go alongside Shedden. He's got alongside. Can he complete the manoeuvre before they turn in? Yes, I think he can. That was good straight line speed. And Matt Neal also going well. Wonder if Shedden's got a bit of a problem here because he's not able to quite match them for pace.
Well, Matt Neal had to take to the grass there on the inside to avoid hitting Shedden, but certainly Shedden appears to be struggling on the straights a little bit more than you'd expect just from that weight, but it may be that he's worked the front tyres too hard and he's just not coming off the corner well enough.
Yeah, could be that. Matt Neal right behind his teammate now. So we've got a pair of BMWs, then we've got the Pertec Vauxhall of Andrew Jordan, then the BMW of Rob Collard, then the pair of Hondas to bring up that little gaggle of cars. Just to remind you that up front, Jason Plato is still leading this race in the Chevrolet Cruze by quite a margin, 4.6 seconds. Tom Onslow-Cole is sitting in third place. The two Fords are still running nose to tail up front as we're watching this little tussle going on at the lower end of the top 10. Shed followed by Matt Neal. Matt Neal's in 9th place here. Behind them there's quite a big gap back to James Nash, then Dave Pinkney, Martin Johnson, Andy Neate and Lee Wood. But there's our race leader. It is Jason Plato. Still the two Fords running very close. Tom Onslow-Cole probably just moving out to get a bit of air through to the brakes and the engine to cool it as much as anything there.
Yeah, definitely. You're just keeping the temperatures down. Engine temperature is hot now, as we said. If you follow too close for too many laps, the temperatures will go through roof. So I think that's exactly what he was doing there. And these cars don't give off a massive slipstream, so there's no great advantage in sticking really close behind somebody.
No, lovely view from on board Tom Onslow-Cole as they come through the right-hander and down into Russell Corner. Hard braking, and we mentioned earlier the lack of engine braking on the LPG car, so they've got to think about that there. Lee Wood, meanwhile, having a good battle with Andy Neate and almost finding a way past, but not quite. Now,
yeah, naturally, we just got a glimpse there, didn't we, of the driver's side of Lee Wood's car with a big dent in the door. There you can see it there, and that was obviously the contact he had with Alex McDowell on the restart.
Yes, that's right. So Alex obviously wasn't too impressed by that. We didn't actually get to see what happened though, so difficult to know. He's still chasing Andy Neate here. Neate just keeping defensive. There is that damage. Stickers trailing away on the ground, but that's not going to affect him too much. As we come around, we're on to lap 20 out of 21. Jason Plato still very much in control. This race is going on for 13th, 14th places. Behind them still Sean Hollenby in 15th. Martin Depper is in 16th place. But it's Jason Plato looking ever so strong. And you have to say, Tim, this is for the other teams a bit worrying almost to see this kind of pace being demonstrated by Plato.
I think this is ominous because, you know, the car is clearly working well. They qualified on the front row of the grid. He's been able to win a race with fastest lap with maximum ballast. This is a tough circuit. The tyres haven't gone off. It's a hot day. You know, that's everything a driver wants. And I'll be honest, you said it was, oh, that's a...
all getting very tight once again into Russell, just about surviving it. But Gordon Shedden there, still keeping Matt Neal behind him. Still Stephen Kane running in 4th, Matt Jackson, Andrew Jordan and Collard. And as the rest of them head across the line, we're on to the final lap then. And James Nash trying to close up to that group as well. Are we going to see a last moment drama here in this second race of the day? A little bit of dust kicked up by Matt Jackson. That's going to give Andrew Jordan a chance perhaps to close even more. He's had a great run through Sear Corner as Andrew Jordan. And look at the two Hondas. Don't know where they're going. Disappearing off almost onto the grass. Two Fords still running nose and tail in 2nd and 3rd. Stephen Kane coming down into the S's, and then Andrew Jordan keeping that pressure on Matt Jackson, but he's not close enough to really go on the attack. I think this is a pretty impressive drive by Jackson, carrying the weight. It's obviously been a bit of a penalty to him, but the weight has not made any difference at all to this guy. Jason Plato might be carrying 45 kilos, but Snetterton is proving to be a day of delights for Jason Plato. He took the championship lead earlier on. He comes through to take his 4th win of the season, his 57th career win. He's just 3 short of the great Andy Rouse now. What a result for him. 2nd goes to Tom Chilton. Tom Onslow-Cole finishes in 3rd place, so an excellent performance by the two Ford Focuses. Stephen Kane will finish in 4th ahead of Matt Jackson, who holds off Andy Jordan to the line. Rob Collard in 7th, Shedden in 8th, Matt Neal in 9th. And then you've got this great little race still going on between Andy Neate and Lee Wood. Can Lee Wood find any opportunity here out of the last corner? I don't think he will. The exit's been cleaned by Andy Neate. No mistakes from him. Oh, he's trying to run right up to the pit wall to do it, but it's not going to happen. Martin Johnson finishes ahead of them in 12th. Andy Neat is 13th, and there you are. Lee Wood finishes in 14th place. But great to see some hard racing going on further down the field as a relatively, well, very untroubled Jason Plato does take 2 wins out of 2 races here at Snetterton. He's done it in the past, but the Chevrolet is looking very fast indeed. Let's have a word with Jason. Jason, well done. I said earlier on it might be an easy win, and you said no way, they're never easy. Well, I don't know quite what you call that one, but it looked pretty straightforward to me.
Well, full credit, thank you. Full credit to my engineers really and technicians on the car. We knew if we could improve the car from race 1 and just have a bit better front end for the opening laps and a little bit more oversteer, then it would be phenomenal pace. And I know that round here, if you can break the toe and get away, it often works. So yeah, great result for them. Very pleased with the balance of the car. We've really got this Chevrolet Cruze going now. Big thanks to Silverline and all our supporters. Now it's our time to pay you back.
Oh, well done, Jason. Good result there for the team, and his teammate might have been having a tough time, but Jason Plato is having a fantastic time in the sunshine at Snetterton. He takes the win from Tom Chilton and Tom Onslow Cole. Stephen Kane in 4th place ahead of his teammate Matt Jackson. Andrew Jordan was 6th ahead of Rob Collard. Gordon Shedden in 8th place ahead of his teammate Matt Neal, but losing out in that points battle again, Matt Neal. James Nash finished in 10th. Behind them we had David Pickney, then Martin Johnson and Andy Neat, just finishing ahead of Lee Wood. Sean Holnaby, Martin Depper were next, but problems for Alex McDowell, Arthur Force, and of course, unfortunately, the accident earlier, Tom Boardman, John George, and Paul O'Neill. Now, Matt Neal had the championship lead arriving here at Snetterton, but just look how much it has changed. 24 points now, the advantage for Jason Plato. After a pretty horrible day for Matt Neal so far, Tom Onslow Cole has moved up into 3rd place now, ahead of Gordon Shedden. Only a point difference between them, though. Stephen Kane is in 5th, closely followed by his teammate Matt Jackson. Then it's Chilton, O'Neill, Collard and Jordan.
Jason, very happy Jason, obviously. I think Ben said to you on the slowing down lap, that was about as straightforward a win as he's ever seen you take. Was it that straightforward or was it a tough one for you?
To win at this level is never easy, but this year, we just haven't really got the car where we wanted to. And the 2-week break, or the 7-week break rather, it's just allowed the engineers to really drill down into the setup and really understand. Now we've got a handle on the car, we've really made some big gains, and not just on 1 lap pace, but more importantly on our race run. And I knew race 1, but there was still more to come. And they gave me a fantastic car. A little bit of understeer in race 1 in the high speed early on, and there it was gone. So I knew I could put a good lap in, get a little lead, and hopefully that would be it.
It was about, I spoke to one of the Dunlop guys, it was about 7 degrees hotter than the race early. Do you think that was maybe helped the car come to you, or was it just the guys that engineered to allow that?
I'm not sure the heat's helped us. If anything, it's probably gone slightly the other way. But we made some decent changes to the car. Actually, changed aero, roll bars, damping, quite a lot of changes. And it's just tipped it really good. I mean, that Chevrolet Cruze at the minute is a phenomenal car. Just where we want it to be.
Good enough to take a hat trick today?
No, there's no way anyone's going to get past these hideous Fords, is there?
You really hate them, don't you?
Well, yeah, it's a farce. It's a farce.
Anyway, Jason, brilliant job. Well done. I'll let you go and calm down and cool down. See you later, mate. And a brilliant performance again by Tom Chilton. Just got in there and did a really professional job. Bit of pressure from the other Tom, or you had it all under control?
He was dicing around a bit in my mirrors, and I just went off nice and easy to start off because I want to save my tyres. And at the end, I was pretty happy with the times I was doing. Jason was on a different planet. He had full success ballast. He led by like a mile, I think. He probably just whinged on camera saying how slow his car was, knowing him. But
he was just saying how hideous the Fords are. That's what he actually said.
Oh, right, yeah, he has to whinge about something. But I think they're unbeatable. Don't know what they're doing. But what we've done, me and Tom have just worked our way up through the field, especially Tom. I mean, He's gone from 21st to 6th and 6th to 3rd. He's done a really, really good effort. And I drove my little socks off, and I just wanted to get some points. You know, I didn't want to try and risk anything. I've got to get points. I need 3 podiums, and that's my second one.
It's a good job. How's your blisters, by the way?
They're sore, but now it's just all numb, my feet, when I hit the pedals.
Thanks, Tom. Now let's speak to the other Tom. As probably the biggest compliment you've had is been from your teammate. Is it what an awesome drive you've had, or 2 awesome drives from the last on the grid, and more or less up to 6th and 6th to 3rd. So can we look at maybe even more than that for the rest of the weekend, or for the last race rather than the weekend?
Well, yeah, you'd like to think so. Although the pace that Chevrolet, I mean, they are fast. Or Jason in that one with full ballast still managed to romp away, and even working as a team there and slipstreaming each other and pushing as hard as we could, we still really couldn't make an impact on his lead. So reverse grid next, so we'll be starting in front of him. Some good start maybe, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's been a good recovery from a bad day yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, after that, I bet you were thinking there's absolutely no way you're going to get anything out of this weekend. And now, who knows, you maybe even go to something a bit more. So, brilliant job. I'm going to let you go and cool down now. And we're going to talk to Louise. Thanks, Tom.
So 2 victories so far for Jason Plato, but where will he be starting the 3rd and final race from? Well, we were hoping to have Adrian Newey with us to make the reversed draw grid, but Lawrence Tomlinson has stepped in his place. First and most important question, Lawrence, what's the latest news about Adrian?
Yeah, Adrian's fine. He's on his way to hospital. He's chatting to everyone. It's precautionary that they're taking him to the hospital because he's had a crash yesterday as well. So he's fine, that's great.
Which is good news. He's had an interesting weekend, hasn't he? Like you said, a crash yesterday too.
Yeah, he had the crash yesterday, but this one was a really big shunt, and both cars were pretty extensively damaged. So it's not a bad idea to get him checked out, have a scan. I'm sure he's absolutely fine. He
is an experienced racer, we do have to say. I know, certainly talking to him earlier on, he was certainly enjoying his experience of racing in the Ginettas. Do you think he'll come back if you ask him again?
Oh, I hope he does, because he's driven Ginettas before in the G20s previously, and he's a great guy to have around, and he might give me a few tips.
Has he been looking at the cars from a technical perspective, telling you maybe how you can improve them?
Well, I think he was looking very closely at the front wing. Was it moving up and down, that kind of thing, yeah.
Well, we'll move on swiftly from that one. Just a final quick word about Louisa Richardson, her first victory in the Ginetta Juniors. That was a great result for her, and that really opens up that championship, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm delighted for Louise. It's been a long time coming, but now she's really on song. She's driving so well. And the championship's really close. Jake, who was leading, now I think he's back in about 3rd or something like that, but there's very few points in it. It's getting so exciting.
Great stuff. Well, in a moment we're going to get you to do the draw for the reverse grid, but first of all, the numbers to look out for, and they are in 6th place. It's Andrew Jordan in 7th, Robert Collard, Gordon Shedden in 8th, Matt Neal 9th, and James Nash 10th. So you could make or break someone's day right here. Take a card for us.
Let's make someone's day.
Let's have a look at the number. It is number 10. That is James Nash. James starting the 3rd race from pole position. And here's Ben to tell us how the rest of the grid lines up.
Really interesting actually, because James won on the road here last year but was excluded after an incident with Rob Collard. So that's fascinating that James Nash is going to be starting from pole position. He's fast here. Matt Neal will be alongside him and he's desperate for points. Shedden will be up there as well, so will Rob Collard. Then on row 3 it'll be Andrew Jordan and Matt Jackson. So it's a fascinating grid lineup for the 3rd race of the day here at Snetterton, and lots to look forward to. Behind them will be Stephen Kane and Tom Onslow-Cole, then Tom Chilton, and of course Jason Plato with a top 10 reverse. It's the worst possible outcome for him because he's now starting 10th. Pickney is next up with Johnson on row 6. And then as we go slightly further down the field, there will be, again, some quickish guys further back, of course. Watch out particularly for Alex McDowell. He'll be starting on the 9th row. He's very unlucky in that last one. Wasn't able to make much progress. And let's hope that the engine gets changed in time, because he was telling us that they're having to change the engine. Tom Boardman and Paul O'Neill will also be coming from the back if those cars get repaired. So let's wish those teams luck. Hope they get back out. And they will be racing from those positions in race 3 this afternoon.
Thanks, Ben. Well, we've got Porsche Carrera Cup action coming up next. It's round 12 when we come back.